כרוצים פה היום לשמחת התורה ונצרים לסיים ולאחל בגיל ובנורא ובכן נסכמתי דעת כולם לברכה נעשה ראשונה למצווה דיבורה מרב טובך ומשכורתך יתרה עמדי, יעל בת משה ופרומה, קלט בראשית בנה, ברשות הקהל הקדוש הזה, לברך אל גדול ונורא, אמן. אחרייך הכל מהרה, תעמוד, יעל בת משה ופרומה, קלט בראשית בנה, Sesora sempo, simchat Torah, lo bravo simchat Torah, sesora sempo, simchat Torah, lo bravo simchat Torah, sesora sempo, simchat Torah, lo bravo simchat Torah, Torah sarfa mikol Torah, mikol pnim yakara, Amir ve'asis le'zot Torah, Ilanu.
Judy, in anticipation of graduating from rabbinical school, each of us seniors were asked to choose our favorite text that expressed how we understood the world to be put on a piece of artwork that would hang in all of our homes. I chose a text from Parshat Bereshit, chapter 1, verse 27, which we'll read this morning, which states, God created man in God's image, male and female, God created them. There were numerous reasons that I loved this text then and why I'm choosing this text to share it with you as I welcome you to this bima. First, Judy, this text teaches that everyone is created in the divine image and that we should treat all people as sacred. Judy, you not only shine with radiance all of the time, but you carry yourself in a way and you treat others in a way that demonstrates the understanding that we are all sacred. You are caring and sensitive, welcoming and kind. You have a strong sense of a connection to God and that you have with Judaism, Jewish tradition, and our Jewish community are all a part of your very essence. I have always felt connected to you since our conversation about Amy Eilberg being your pilgrimage staff member. Amy was the first female conservative rabbi. And of course, we share a love of upstate New York and the Jewish community there. Second, in this text, we see the importance of equality and partnership in a relationship. When God began the creation of the world, God understood that if one was to find a partner, it needed to be with someone they were truly in sync. You are someone that understands that deeply. The love that you and Rich share, the commitment that you have to each other, and your care for one another is truly sacred. Lastly, Judy, you are one of the greatest connectors I have ever met. You are someone that I have been able to count on whenever someone walks through our Sutton Place doors or calls on the phone. You have built Boko by yourself, and you should be so proud of all that you have done. Your leadership and your commitment to our congregation is so greatly appreciated, and I am honored to be your rabbi. I know a year ago today, and this past year was not the year you thought it would be. But you also weren't sure a year ago you would be here like this now. And we are. And you are. And as we've discussed, and Rich is, most of them. And as we've discussed, each moment of each day, we put one foot in front of the other, we appreciate what we have, and we only look forward. Thanks for all you do, and Mazel Tov on this well-deserved honor as we begin the Torah and you begin a Happy New Year together. You can follow along on page 3.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ לארץ את התוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום ורוח אלוהים המרחפת על פני המים ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור ויהי אור וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום ולחושך קרא לילה פרם 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 Param 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 bam param 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 bam bam param וירא ויבוקר יום אחד.
Page 6.
ויאמר אלוהים ויהי רקיע בתוך המים ויהי מבדיל בין מים למים ויעש אלוהים את הרקיע והבדל בין המים אשר מעל אשר מתחת לרקיע ובין המים אשר מעל לרקיע ויחנה ויקרא אלוהים לרקיע שמיים
ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 פרם
ויערב ויבוקר יום שני ויאמר אלוהים יקבעו המים מתחת השמיים אל מקום אחד ותראה היבשה ויחן ויקרא אלוהים ליבשה ארץ ותקבע מים כמה ימים וירא אלוהים כי טוב ויאמר אלוהים תדשא הארץ דשא עשב מזיע זרע עץ פרי עושה פרי למינו אשר זרעו בו על הארץ ויחן ותוצא הארץ דשא עשב מזיע זרע למינו ותוצא פרי אשר זרעו בו למינו וירא אלוהים כי טוב
פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 פם פם
וירא ויבוקר יום שלישי ויאמר אלוהים יהי מאוד בלתי השמיים להבדיל בין היום ובין הלילה והיו דרכות ומועדים ולימים ושנים והיו תמורות בלתי השמיים להאיר על הארץ ויחנה ויעש אלוהים את שני המאורות הגדולים את המאור הגדול לממשלת היום ואת המאור הקטון לממשלת הלילה ואת הכוכבים ויתן אותם אלוהים בלתי השמיים להאיר על הארץ ולמשול ביום ובלילה ולהבדיל בין האור ובין החושך וירא אלוהים כי טוב
פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 פם פם
ויערב ויבוקר יום רביעי ויאמר אלוהים ישרצו המים שרץ נפש חיה ועופר עופף על הארץ על פני רקיע השמיים ויברא אלוהים את התנינים הגדולים ואת כל נפש החיה הרומסת אשר שרצו המים למיניהם ואת כל עוף כנף למיניהו וירא אלוהים כי טוב ויברך אותם אלוהים לאמור פירו בו ומילאו את המים בימים והעוף לברך
פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 ים פרם 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 פם
ויערב ויבוקר יום חמישי.
Top of page 9.
ויאמר אלוהים תוצא הארץ נפש חיה למינה בהמה ורמש וחייתו ארץ למינה ויחנה ויעש אלוהים את חיית הארץ למינה ואת הבהמה למינה ואת כל רמס האדמה למינו וירא אלוהים כי טוב ויאמר אלוהים נעשה אדם בצלמנו כדמותנו וירדו בגת הים ובעוף השמיים ובבהמה ובכל הארץ ובכל הרמס הרומס על הארץ ויברא אלוהים את האדם בצלמו בצלם אלוהים ברא אותו זכר ונקבה ברא אותם ויברך אותם אלוהים ויאמר להם אלוהים פירו ובכל חיה רומסת על הארץ. ויאמר אלוהים, הנה נתתי לכם את כל עשב זורעי הזרע, אשר על פני כל הארץ ואת כל העץ, אשר באופרי את זורעי הזרע, לכם יהיה לאוכלה ולכל חיית הארץ, ולכל עוף השמיים, ולכל רומס על הארץ, אשר בו נפש חיה את כל ירק עשב לאוכלה ויחנה. והיה אלוהים את כל אשר עשה, והנה טוב מאוד. ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי וקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
So before we dance around Judy, I invite Judy over here to share a few words. After she does so, her friends and family are invited onto the bima to dance.
Chag Sameach. August 12, 2004. That's when I first walked down this aisle as a bride, about to be married to the love of my life, under that chuppah on this very bima. I began a new chapter of my life that day, much as we're beginning a new chapter today as we celebrate Simchat Torah. But for me, this is deeply personal. Exactly 1 year ago, as the rabbi said on Simchat Torah, my marathon running husband stopped breathing. He was rushed to the hospital. He spent 3 weeks in intensive care and 2 weeks in acute rehab before he came home. Thank God. I want to tell you about this, not because I want to talk about how scary it was for me or how brave he was, or how wonderful the doctors and nurses were. They were all of that. But today I want to talk about you. I want to talk about what I learned from all of you, from our Sutton Place Synagogue community, who went above and beyond to show the true meaning of chesed and friendship. On our way to the hospital that morning, I called our synagogue president, aka Dr. Pochapin, because I knew that she was affiliated with that hospital. She rushed over as soon as she could. There you are. Rabbi Ain and Harriet rushed over as soon as services were over, and the rabbi and Sherry came to the hospital every single day for the first 6 days. As a matter of fact, on the 7th day, they weren't there, so I texted them and I said I was keeping an attendance sheet, and I was marking them absent. When Rich was in an induced coma, I will never forget saying the Shabarachs with Rabbi Ain and praying that my praying would work, while feeling that because she was there, it just might. I heard from so many of you during those weeks. My cell phone data was going through the roof with all of the calls and texts I received. And I will never forget all of you that came from SPS and crowded the little room outside of where Rich was, so much that the nurses threatened to kick us out about 10 times a day. You brought me sandwiches, you brought me snacks, okay, you brought Skinny Pop and chocolate. I could have opened a small deli, I had so much food in there. I'm not naming names here, but you brought me mini wine bottles so I could unwind during the nights I slept in the recliner. You came when I ran home to take a shower and called to ask what topics to discuss with Rich while he was sleeping. You sat and read the New York Times to him so he would be up to date on the Harvey Weinstein saga when he woke up. You watched football and described the game to him. You brought him stuffed animals. You brought me a wool scarf to keep me warm while I sat there for hours. You drove me home at night even though the hospital was a few blocks from our apartment. And you texted to say, I know what you're going through, and you helped me go through it. I am describing some of these instances from those 5 weeks that are encapsulation of the love and support we receive, not from our family, not from our longtime friends, but from everyone here, that we have been lucky enough to have met over the last 14 years. All of you completely overwhelmed me as I learned the true meaning of community. I even went to meet with Rabbi Ain a few months after Rich came home because I couldn't really wrap my head around what happened. And I thought, like, how do I thank God for Rich's recovery? How do I thank our community for saying Mishaberachs and keeping us in their prayers? And how do I give back now? That brings us to today. In the back of my mind, I thought that on Simchat Torah 2018, like maybe we'd have a quiet celebration at home, or I would just bury my head in the sand. Then Jeff Upner called, and he called me this summer to tell me I had been chosen as Kallat Bereshit for this year. And I tearfully told him that I wasn't sure I could celebrate Simchat Torah. To which he said, Judy, Simchat Torah is all about new beginnings. And then I remembered what Cantor Dove said to us in the hospital. He said, Richala, don't look back, look forward. He was right. We all have reason to celebrate today. If you're in this room, you're part of our community at SPS. We are so blessed at this shul to have the type of members that don't care what your background is, don't care how much money you have in the bank, don't care how good your golf game is. All we care is being here for ourselves and being here for each other. As Rabbi Ain said in her Rosh Hashanah speech this year, her sermon, she spoke about the power of human connections, and I quote, "What we do for one another during our deepest moments of fear or loss is look out for one another. Connecting with one another the best we can and propping each other up is something we can commit to in this year." And then she went on, and let me tell you, it saves lives, unquote. Thank you, Rabbi Ain, for voicing my emotions so perfectly. Speaking of saving lives, I have to plug. I hope you'll come to the free CPR class that Women's League is sponsoring Thursday, October 11th at 6 p.m. Believe me, it's easy and it works. So I just want to thank all of you for being here today to share in this Simcha with us. In particular, my brother and sister-in-law and my best friend from childhood who flew up from Florida, and also to all my cousins and friends who took the time, didn't go to work, to join us here today, and most of all, to my husband, Rich, who makes me feel like a bride every single day, and who I look forward to spending the next chapter of my life with. Chag Sameach, Mazel Tov to Fred and your entire family, and may this be a year of good health, peace, and happiness for all. Amen.